All right, I want to call to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Education for Murphysboro Community Unit District 186. And Mrs. Hines, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Boehm?
Here.
Mr. Beavers?
Here.
Mrs. Brazel? Here. Mr. Green?
Here.
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Mrs. Evaldi? Here. Mr. Rungy?
Here, next item, the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Beavers, will you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is the approval of the agenda. Dr. Evers, are there any changes, additions, or deletions?
No.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Item number 5 is the approval of the consent agenda, which consists of District 186 regular board meeting minutes dated March the 15th of 2022, applications and reports, and I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item is the approval of District 186 bills for April of 2022. I'll open the floor to the board for any questions of Mrs. Bush.
So, do you know when the last time was we got a West Bus bill?
We have only received bills for December and January, and we got those in February, so we approved those at the February meeting, and those are the only two bills that we've received this school year.
So we don't have any bills for 2022.
Well, we have December and January, we don't have August, September, October, November, February, or March. So we're missing those months. We've only been billed for 2 months. So.
Any other questions?
We're 20 days from the end of the school year, so, I mean,
Well, I know.
school days, yeah.
How many?
About
20.
20-ish,
Wow.
yeah. Very few.
Serious?
I could do an official count.
No, that's
Seniors.
okay.
There's a lot of smiling faces behind you, so I'd say.
Our superintendent said 20. I heard it.
We haven't approved that yet. Any other questions for Mrs. Bush?
Is that calendar days or school days?
Then I'll entertain a motion to
School days.
approve the bills.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Mrs. Hines.
Mr. Beavers?
Yeah.
Mrs. Brazel?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Evaldi?
Yes.
Mr. Boehm?
Yes.
Mr. Rungy?
Yes, motion carries. Next item is communications, and sit back, folks, because we have quite a few.
It was 23 days.
I thought you were saying 23.
That's what Not 23 communications.
We had 10 this afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the first one's from Don Olson. Dear Mr. Todd, as we discussed today, I've been offered a position as an ultrasound technician and I have accepted the job. Therefore, I must tender my resignation as an aide at Carruthers. My last day will be Monday, May the 2nd. I want to reiterate that I will be available to work at Carruthers on Mondays and Fridays, as my new job will only be Tuesday through Thursday. I've enjoyed working at Carruthers very much, and thank you and the Board of Education for giving me the opportunity to do so. Thank you, Don Olson.
I'll entertain a motion to accept that resignation.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
The next one is from Caitlin Peridotto. Dear Miss Finke, please accept this as my resignation from my position as a first grade teacher at General John A. Logan Attendance Center, effective at the end of my current signed contract. This is bittersweet, but I have been given an opportunity to work closer to home, which allows for more time with my family. I will forever be grateful for the 2 years I have spent as a teacher for Murphysboro CUSD 186. I have grown as an educator in ways I never imagined possible. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to work at such an amazing place.
Now I'll entertain a motion to accept that resignation.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
The next one is from Bethany Lee. To whom it may concern, I'm requesting a temporary leave of absence beginning on April the 11th, 2022 to May 27th, 2022. Due to student teaching at Jacoin School District, I am taking this leave of absence with the intent of returning to Murphysboro CUSD 186 in August. Sincerely, Bethany Lee.
And I'll entertain a motion to accept that leave of absence.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
The next one is from Ashley Dickerson. Dear Dr. Evers and Board of Education, I am writing today to give my official resignation as a full-time LPN for CUSD 186. My last day of duties will be April the 22nd, 2022. On my part, this was not an easy decision. The past 3 years have been very rewarding working at the General John A. Logan Attendance Center. I have gained knowledge and friendships that will last a lifetime. Going forward, I have accepted a position as an operating room LPN at St. Joseph Memorial Hospital. I have enjoyed my time at CUSD 186 immensely and am so grateful to have had the opportunity to work for such an incredible district. Thank you again for all the positive support and guidance throughout my years with CUSD 186. I look forward to working with you in the future if given the chance. Sincerely, Ashley Dickerson.
I'll entertain a motion to accept that resignation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
The next one is from Brian Alexander. To whom it may concern, I am putting in my notice that I will not be coaching the middle school softball team next year. This is my letter of resignation. I appreciate the chance to have coached a wonderful group of girls. Sincerely, Brian Alexander.
I'll entertain a motion to accept that resignation.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
The next one is from George Moocher. Dear Mr. Cody Ellemeyer, it is with mixed emotions that I am tendering my resignation as a science teacher at Murphysboro High School at the completion of the 21-22 school year, due to accepting a teaching position in another region of Illinois. I have been affiliated with MHS since August of 2010, when I was assigned there for the student teaching portion of my certification process. I was made to feel at home right from the start and have seen how the school has grown over the years since to be one of the best in Southern Illinois. I have been fortunate to work with many amazing educators and to interact with incredible students. Additionally, I am appreciative of the opportunities I've been provided at Murphysboro High School, as they have contributed immensely to the teacher that I am now and will continue to be a major factor as I move on to my next opportunity. Please accept this resignation letter as a formal notice contingent upon the Champaign Unit School District 4 Board approval of my hiring on April the 11th, 2022. Sincerely, George Moocher.
I'll entertain a motion to accept that resignation.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
The next one is from Karen Burrick. To the members of the District 186 School Board, I would like to inform you of my decision to resign my position as girls basketball coach at Murphysboro High School. It has been an honor to represent the Murphysboro Athletic Department in this capacity. The leadership shown by Mr. Navarra is second to none, and I am grateful for the support I received from the administration during my tenure. Always a devil, Karen Jurek.
I'll entertain a motion to accept that resignation.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
This one is from Chelsea Bunton. Dear Mr. Hernan, Dr. Evers, and Murphysboro Board of Education, please accept this letter as formal notification that I am resigning from my position as 6th grade English language arts teacher, effective at the conclusion of the 21-22 school year. I am forever grateful for the opportunities I have been provided in this district, from student teaching to a position as an aide and eventually transitioning to a classroom teacher. Though I am sad to leave, it has been my hope to leave my home of Southern Illinois, and my family has been presented with an opportunity to pursue that path. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to assist in the transition. Sincerely, Chelsea Benton.
And I'll accept a motion to approve that resignation.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
The next one's from Emily Collier. Dear Dr. Evers and school board members, I am writing to inform you of my intent to take maternity leave with my third child. My due date is July 24th, 2022. My intention is to return to school the beginning to middle of November, barring any complications. I plan to use my temporary disability for my pay. I will be in contact with Ms. Finke and the substitute teacher at the beginning of August to discuss the exact dates of my leave. Sincerely, Emily Collier.
I'll entertain a motion to accept that maternity leave.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
And the last one, to whomever it may concern, it is with regret that I submit my letter of resignation as 6th grade ELA teacher, with the date of departure being at the end of the 21-22 school year. I have given my notice in the earliest time frame possible. I want to express my gratitude to MMS for the opportunity to be a Blue Devil. I hope over the next few weeks to assist to make the transition as painless as possible for my fellow coworkers. I wanted to share that I was not in search of a different position. However, a position within my home district came upon me, and it was an opportunity that I could not pass up. I understand that the timing is not ideal, and for that I'm sorry. These positions within my home district are few and far between, which only heightens my desire to make this transition now. Sincerely, Kelly Carpenter.
And I'll entertain a motion to accept that resignation.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and on behalf of the board and the district, we want to wish all of them all the best. Next item is communications. That was, I'm sorry, no, we just finished
Don't do that.
communications. Don't do it. So we're gonna move right into fishbowl, because we got some of those too, I think.
Yeah, we've got two.
Two?
This is coming from Crothers, Ann Carrington. Reading is Fundamental contacted me about a program that gives 2 students filled book bags. This organization has teamed with Starbucks to do this. There are new books, bookmarks, and other reading accessories in the book bags. If I replied and let them know about our school, we could be selected. I replied and we were selected. We received 100 of these reading bags. We have 99 students with IEPs, and this works out well. If students may not have their very own books, we'll get filled book bags. This makes my heart happy. I thought you might want to know, Ann.
Thank you.
It's from the desk of Darrell Young. Murphysboro Middle School teachers April Bartnick and Mallory Swafford were featured on WSIL Channel 3 News for a large tree planting project at Riverside Park in Murphysboro. The 230 native trees planted by MMS students will help control erosion while adding to the beauty of the park. Congratulations to these educators for teaching through service to the community. And also today, the middle school boys and girls track team won conference tournament.
Excellent.
Or meet, I guess I should say.
Excellent. All right, next is Freedom of Information Act request, which we did not have any unless they came in recently. We'll move into the recognition of the audience. The Board of Education welcomes the audience to make public or employed comments. The board has set aside time in the agenda specifically for this purpose. Pursuant to Board Policy 2.230, each speaker shall be limited to a 5-minute presentation. Please be aware that while this is the time for the public to express its opinions and/or concerns, the board may or may not comment regarding public presentations. If a matter of public comment warrants discussion or action of the Board of Education, such discussion or action will be added to the agenda of a future meeting. Are there any public concerns? Are there any employee concerns? All right, we will move into old business. We have one item, and it's the approval of the 2022-2023 school calendar, which was distributed at the March meeting. And I'm assuming if there were any questions, they were asked, so I will entertain a motion to approve the calendar for the school year, the next school year. In a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
No.
It's for this calendar,
Yeah,
or no, for the next school year calendar.
okay.
Yeah, we had it on the display a month ago.
Okay.
But it says 21, 22 at the top.
Yeah, but that enclosure is for number 1 in new business.
Yeah, a new bit,
It's the
yeah.
next.
Sorry.
This is-
Okay.
This is for the next. we
The
just
22,
approved-
23, this one was last month, it was on file, so it's for next year's
The
calendar.
committee worked on it for next year.
We did, we had a
Yes.
whole committee meeting, and then, so the first item on old business is what was presented last month with the old or the
Revised.
calendar, the new calendar for next year, and then we're gonna move on to the next one that's the amended calendar,
That's
which is
this.
what you have in your packet, so I saw
So
the
on-
physical looks, yeah.
So under new business, the first item is to amend this year's calendar, and it is enclosure number 1 in your packet. And I'll open the floor for any questions from the board.
And we waited till April just because this year seemed like a kind of weird weather year, so we're hoping all snow events are behind us, so,
Bite your tongue.
I know, if we
So
have,
the only thing you modified is the final day of school.
correct. And then
You pushed it
added
back,
the
right? But we're gonna be in June?
June 1st.
23rd.
Independence Day, right?
It is. Freedom from school on Independence Day, so just the modifications to reflect the days that we had at home instruction.
I don't think they thought that was funny, Mr. Brown. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the amended school calendar.
I make the motion.
In a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Items number 2 and 3, I'll just combine, these are informational only. The board was sent the student parent handbook for 2022-2023 and the building management plans for 2022, 2023. And they were sent to you. If you have any questions, please get with Dr. Evers and we will approve those in May.
And one of the things you'll notice, especially on the student discipline, that the middle school and the high school have a more seamless approach to like how they will handle discipline 6 through 12. So you'll see a lot of the same charts that are utilized at the middle school now are the ones that have been used at the high school with some minor revisions.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Next item is the approval of tuition-free students for 2022, 2023. We have quite a few, and we appreciate their parents bringing them into our district.
Absolutely.
They are Ethan Wilson, Harper Waddington, Ethan and Olivia Sonny, Gabriel Lively, Aiden Lively, Legend Lensing, Olivia and Branton Popejoy, Haley Berger, Andre Gibbs, Lennox Hernan, Leland Hernan, and Eliza Hernan, and last is Victoria Young. So again, we want to thank their parents, and I will entertain a motion to waive the tuition fees for them.
So moved.
In a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item is an informational item. It's the amended 2021-2022 budget. Mrs. Bush, do you have handouts for the
I
board?
do. Cheryl, if you pass those, take one, pass those down. So we won't go over this until the June meeting. Giving it to you in May would not have given us 30 days in between. I'm trying not to have a special meeting. So putting that out now, I'm sure there will be some tweaks to this revised budget before the June meeting, but I will send out to you ahead of time a detail like I did last year of the big changes in the budget, but I'm not doing that yet because we've still got quite a bit of fiscal year left. So the June 22nd board meeting, getting out the week before that should be a pretty much tighter budget at that point. So
Thank you, Mrs. Bush.
you're welcome.
Then the next item is we need to set the budget hearing to review the 2021-2022 amended budget, and the recommendation from administration is for June the 21st at 5:45, which is right before the regularly scheduled board meeting for June. And I'll entertain a motion to approve that. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 7 is the approval to adopt the IRS mileage rate. In the past, we have reimbursed employees at a rate less than the IRS allows, and the recommendation from administration is to go with the IRS rate. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second? Second. Mrs. Hines?
Mrs. Evaldi?
Yes.
Mr. Beavers?
Yes.
Mrs. Brazel?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Boehm?
Yes.
Mr. Rungy?
Yes, motion carries. Next item is the approval of a memorandum of understanding with MEA and Murphysboro District 186. And this is for the pay that we will be giving to the teachers for summer school.
Correct. And
Because, go
sorry,
ahead.
one-
Go
one-
ahead.
One thing, it's funded through grants, so it's an after-school grant and then also some care. So we're utilizing grant funds for funding of summer school.
And we're taking it from $20, which is what we've paid in the past, to $34.16 just for this coming summer. It's a one-year agreement. So I'll then open the floor to any questions from the board of the administration on this.
I just think about next year, and when we have to lower it back down, or, find money from somewhere else to.
I mean, we're just looking at it year to year as, and it's not part of our collective bargaining agreement, so,
We really haven't had any issues in the past, though, have we?
This is the first time that we've really gone differently than the.
Well, I mean, in the past.
Finding teachers in the past.
Yeah, we've always had teachers that were willing to teach during the summer.
I think there's a different level of willingness when there's a little bit more money,
Well.
to make that commitment for part or all of your summer.
I guess my concern is once this year, we're paying this higher amount.
Right.
Next year, it's like, well, I'm not going.
Well,
Last year I did for
well, part of
$35 an
that's-
hour, next year it's 20.
Part of
You
that's
know.
the ESSER money, when that's gone, we won't have this extra money to
And that's why
do
it
that
was,
with.
And that's why
was
it's an understanding.
So, I mean,
It's
obviously,
only a one-year deal.
obviously, I, think it's a great idea, just next year.
Yeah, I think we're getting
And we'll,
see
yeah,
what we really have at the end of all this ESSER money to see that, all these districts that have money will go back to.
leaner times in 2 years. And it will be different in leaner times when you don't have 20% of your ESSER, being designated for learning loss and for things like after school and for summer school and enrichment. I mean, we have some really cool learning loss opportunities for students, some really, really great. Teachers will start getting out their flyers for astronomy, classes and all kinds of different programs. So lots and lots of cool things in store for this summer. The principals and I looked at the plans last Monday, and some really, really neat things. Even piano is being offered at the high school level, so they're gonna purchase some electronic pianos and teach that to students during enrichment during the summer. So lots of neat things. So I'm excited, but I hope we'll have teachers in 2 years when we don't have learning loss.
Any other questions from the board? Then I'll accept a motion to approve this MOU with the MEA.
So moved.
And a second?
Second?
Mrs. Hines?
Mr. Beavers?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mrs. Evaldi?
Yes.
Mr. Boehm?
Yes.
Mrs. Brazel?
Yes.
Mr. Rungy?
Yes, motion carries. Next item is an interagency agreement with COPE and Safe Schools Program. This is an annual agreement that we have to approve. Are there any questions from the board on this? I'll entertain a motion to accept it.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item is the approval of a new benchmarking tool, which is the STAR benchmarking tool.
It'll be-
Dr. Evers, is there anything you want to?
They utilize K-8. I think Terry Hines sent you the cost associated with it, so you could kind of see what it will cost. And that's for the whole system. It includes the warehousing and some of the interventions that go along with the STAR program. So those interventions in that data warehouse, so that you can look at data. And if you have a kid who's going to be a kindergartner next year, you'll see that child kindergarten through 8th grade on a system that you'll be able to compare apples to apples. So just know, starting next fall, the district will be using a K-8 common uniform tool, so it should be really exciting.
And this is paying for 2 years of subscription up front, or? Okay.
Yeah, so, he's the
So-
cool guy.
The discount that's on here, after those 2 years, do we still get that discount again, or is that promotional?
They
Usually
usually,
do another multi-year agreement, we would get another discount.
Okay.
yeah,
It's
they,
based on the multi-year and all the services that we're buying from that one vendor.
Freckle, AR, Renaissance Learning, what's the fancy, Schoolzilla?
LA,
The-
Schoolzilla.
Schoolzilla is the data warehouse that shares articulates the information across kids and grade levels, and so it's a pretty robust system, so it should help us see and make changes for kids who are at or above or right on grade level, so. Yeah, I mean, it has the intervention level, but also the enrichment piece, so lots and lots of really great opportunities, and
We
so.
also don't have to retrain the parents when they
No.
move to a different building.
Well,
because
and
you've got
parents who
different
come to-
tool.
Yeah, parent-teacher conferences, they might be looking at 3 different systems if they have a General
Exactly.
Brothers and a middle school student, and then the 4th piece will be, we will adopt, like we have, the SAT systems for the high school, because that's what we're utilizing. If it went back to ACT, we would move, and change, if it ever changed back to the ACT system, but right now it's SAT, and so we use the PSAT and all, that product at the high school level, but K-8 will have benchmarking consistent from, all 3 attendance centers, so it's a positive move in the right direction.
Any other questions from the board? Then I'll entertain a motion to approve this new benchmarking tool.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Mrs. Hines.
Mrs. Evaldi?
Yes.
Mrs. Brazel?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Bain?
Yes.
Mr. Beavers?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Rungy?
Yes, motion carries, and the last item under new business is a approval of a reimbursement. Many of you, I think, were aware that for the recent high school musical Footloose, a lighting and sound company had been hired, and the guy quit, got sick, whatever. A couple days before the production was to be put on, and Mr. Brown stepped in and put in quite a bit of time and effort into that. Mrs. White has requested from her budget that Mr. Brown be reimbursed $500 for that time. I did the math, it's about $13 an hour. He put in almost 40 hours worth of work on doing that. So this is coming direct from her budget, and the only reason it's on the agenda is because Mr. Brown is a member of the board, and for transparency purposes, we felt that needed to be voted on. If Mr. Brown wasn't a member of the board, this wouldn't even be on the agenda. So it's her budget, and that's where she felt it was best to be spent. There's several people in those productions that she pays out of her budget, so.
Or out of her ticket sales, like, yeah.
Well, yeah, whatever it's coming from, but she wanted to add Mr. Brown. So, any questions from the board?
Job well done.
It's a great show.
It
It was a good show. Hearing no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve that reimbursement.
So moved.
In a second,
Second.
Mrs. Hines.
Mrs. Evaldi?
Yes.
Mrs. Brazel?
Yes.
Mr. Bain?
Yes.
Mr. Beavers?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Brown will abstain, and Mr. Rungy.
Yes, motion carries, and I'm sure, Mr. Brown, that she's probably already booking you for the next one. It was an excellent show. All right, we have a need to go into closed session.
I make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Section 2 of the Open Meetings Act, 5 Illinois Compiled Statutes 120/2C, to review the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee to determine its validity. And number 2 is collective negotiating matters between the Puttock Valley and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees.
In a second,
Second.
Mrs. Hines.
Mr. Beavers?
Yes.
Mrs. Evaldi?
Yes.
Mr. Bain?
Yes.
Mrs. Brazel?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Rungy?
Yes, motion carries.